Yeah, so I can't imagine a better time for this article. And I really, really recommend that everyone check it out. Jeff Booth wrote this amazing article called Finding Signal in a Noisy World. And it really just talks about why Bitcoin, not crypto. It really reinforces the fact that Bitcoin is completely incomparable and to be really careful when you're examining these other projects. And for me, he sets up something in the article that I think is really the best argument for why Bitcoin is the best form of money that has ever existed. And he creates this triangle, which is not it's the features, the three best features really of Bitcoin, but it creates a trilemma for some of the other cryptocurrencies out there. And that triangle, if you scroll down, is the decentralization, the security, and the scalability. He really just goes into detail with how what money is and how Bitcoin really is able to achieve all three of those really, really, really important features. And then he talks about Web3, DeFi, other cryptocurrencies, and poses questions really for the reader to answer. Because I think that blockchain has become this word that everyone wants to throw around. It's a buzzword, right? Every company wants to get onto the blockchain trend. But is it really necessary for certain companies or certain projects to have a blockchain, or would it make more sense to have a database, right? Is it economically feasible? Can you scale it, or do you end up sacrificing security? I mean, he talks about, how important the energy component, the fact that Bitcoin mining is secured by energy, how that keeps it both secure and decentralized. And so I just think that everyone should really read this article. The more that the conversations are now happening, especially with regards to the Ethereum merger and some of, there are people out there right now saying, after this merger, Ethereum is money. And so I think this article is excellent. And there's 4 questions that I want to bring up from the article, and I'll read them out loud. This is part of what Jeff wrote. And so maybe you guys can share your thoughts on it too. But he poses the question, how could decentralized finance occur on a centrally controlled blockchain? Because again, he argues that many of these will end up becoming centralized due to economic factors and scalability factors. How would Web3's promise be any different than today's monopoly power in technology if it was built on a base layer that was more costly and controlled by very few? What is the long-term value of a digital copy, NFT, of something connected to a blockchain that fails? And finally, if a lower cost through layer 2 and 3 and decentralized alternative existed that enabled gaming and virtual reality companies to control their own destiny rather than risk their future on a centrally controlled blockchain, what would these entrepreneurs choose? Wouldn't it be more likely that this new protocol, instead of a centrally controlled one, form the foundation of the metaverse? And so arguably, maybe a lot of these things that people are very excited about could be built on Bitcoin eventually. So I'm really bullish because of that. I think, again, it's a really important time for this article with some of the discussions happening. And I think that people are just feeling like a little bit, nerve endings seem a little bit raw lately in this bear market. People are more apt to debate and get a little heated right now. So I think it's a good time for people to find signal through the noise.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Natalie, when you were saying your bit. And I think Jeff is absolutely right. All other cryptos, the fundamental problem is that they never separated the monetary policy out of the hands of human beings, right? You look at Bitcoin, it's rules without rulers. And look, Ethereum, XRP, the fact is that if there's enough political pressure, you could change the rules, right? With Bitcoin, you can't do that. You'd have to convince people, is why it's so important to run your own node. You have to convince the people that are running their nodes to download that new software that has inflation, or that download that new software that is OFAC compliant, right? And good luck, right? And these cryptos have not figured that out. At the end of the day, every cryptocurrency that was invented after Bitcoin, it didn't have a virgin birth. The founders knew from the very beginning that they could make money off of it. Bitcoin was discovered. It wasn't invented. It was discovered as an experiment. And then it was given value over time, right? So yeah, in this world of darkness, right? In this world of mayhem, in this world of chaos, Bitcoin gives me hope for a better future. NBK, his handle is just so perfect, right? Deterministic optimism. And that's why I think Saylor bought the domain hope.com, because that's what this is. Bitcoin is hope. And the cryptos, they provide a false sense of hope. Once you look under the hood, you'll realize that it's just a continuation of the system that we've had for years and years and years and years. There's a group of elite that get to decide the monetary policy, and everyone rides along. Bitcoin is fundamentally different. Saylor, even though he has a lot more purchasing power than I do, and he has 100,000 Bitcoins, he has no more influence over the Bitcoin network over me. He can't hold that over my head. And every other crypto, whether it's Ethereum, Solana, XRP, BSV, Bitcoin Cash, they could be fundamentally altered. And the little guy has to pay the consequences. So yeah, that was an awesome article. Thanks for sharing, Natalie.